So here's a story. In the heart of Sepharia, a guy named Cole was continuing on their journey of self-discovery, trying to reinvent themselves, casting light upon the shadows that clung into the city's conventional facade. And as the radiant glow of authenticity emanated from Cole's being, the city began to grapple with the changes within its very essence. The city stood up together. Whispers of transformation echoed through the streets of Sepharia, and the nameless figure that once blended into the background became a beacon of change, challenging the city like a collective consciousness, or into a collective consciousness that felt the pulse of revolution taking shape. The once dormant sparks of individuality now flickered in the hearts of its inhabitants. As Sepharia adapted to the brilliance that Cole brought forth, the story took an unexpected turn. The city's resistance began to wane, and pockets of acceptance started to emerge. The alleys and avenues transformed into canvases for expression of unique opportunities sought out by everyone. As people dared to step into that light and step into their light, guided by the inspiration of a Heartworks journey, Cole was in it to transform lives, and in it, lives were transformed. But the transformation came. It wasn't without challenges. The old guard, resistant to change, clung desperately to the remnants of their past. Some sought out to extinguish the newfound lights, fearing the disruption that brought forth in the comfortable shadows. Yet, the winds of change swept through Sepharia in an unstoppable and invigorating fashion. Collegial, or Cole, now a figurehead of this revolution, began to unite like-minded individuals who yearned to redefine their destinies, and together they formed a community that celebrated diversity, acceptance, authenticity, and the power of their newfound genuine connections. Sepharia, once a city confined by its own expectation, blossomed into the tapestry of individual narratives interwoven into its dance of authenticity through one avenue to be born for the future. This is a Heartworks charity on a mission for that kind of transformative vision to change this world, to be that created change that the world is going to see and feel. The story of Sepharia became a legend, whispering in the winds of change that swept through the cities far and wide. The once forgotten city now stood as a testament to the transformative power of embracing one's own true self. The light that began with Cole's personal journey had become a guiding star for others navigating the labyrinth of that self-discovery. And so, in the ever-evolving saga of Sepharia, the city continued to rewrite its narrative. The old barriers that held them once crumbled, and the nameless shadows that were there got replaced by a vibrant tapestry of lights, each telling a unique story of courage, resilience, and the pursuit of their authentic destiny. So, hello everybody. That was the end of the story, and I'm going to go into a part that's going to be called When You Are Gangstalked, You Are Being Brought Through a Spiritual Warfare Battle. And gangstalking is just a term that we use, but it can be both physical and spiritual warfare that is being played out here. And there are a lot of unseen unknowns before you're ever going to even reason with yourself that what is going on is or could encompass gangstalking or you being a targeted individual. But there are people who are plotting against you and people who are talking negatively behind your back. A targeted individual doesn't necessarily have to encompass the government. It can be regular people. that are just backsliding on you, and they can target you in the worst ways. They make acts they may act as though they are your friends, even though they really are not. When a friend is a person who enjoys the fellowship that you are trying to bring about and have within your life and with the people around you, it's the kind of camaraderie that they can't have because they can't actually go into the places with you in that way to see you thrive or doing well for yourselves at all, because, well, they have a cage, and in that cage they have to continuously hide their, you know, they don't want to be exposed. So they are plotting on your demise, because without your demise and you failing, you are automatically going to be a person that is going to inflame their spirits or otherwise. So they become two-faced and would rather see you down and out instead of winning, and so much so that they're willing to go to lengths to do things. Which is why it is very, very important to be watchful of your tongue and how you say things when you're talking to a person that is already being brought through this kind of mistreatment of you. And maybe it's all stemming from misunderstanding, but rather it's a misunderstanding that you are unaware of how badly so that some people might want to affect harm upon you and hurt you in ways to put you in harm's way. The enemy knows that you are taking the road less traveled when you are going to choose to go to war with the whole kingdom of darkness. And being on the side of God, that these people are going to feel compelled to absolutely want to hurt you. And if they have that cage and have something to hide, they are going to absolutely place you in harm's way. So remember, we aren't fighting against people, rather these spirits that most people don't know anything about. These are spirits of deception, trickery, thievery. I mean, you name it. These are spirits, and they're devils, they're demons. And people encompass demons wholeheartedly at times. And it's all of us. And we all have a problem with demons. And if you're a Christian that says that, oh, I'm a Christian, but I don't have a problem with demons, you're not a Christian. Christians have problems with demons, because even if we are not absolutely wrestling with the demons that of our own, we are called to wrestle with the demons that are out here in the world, in our prayer walk, and in our walk with Christ. So it works highly in their craft to tarnish every person's life on this planet for the power and for political gains, and for the power of control, where they want to control everything we are, from the air we breathe to the water we drink, all the way down to the nanoparticles that we are allowing to be in our foods or food-like products. We are choosing to walk in a certain way and choosing to stay away from all of these fleshy desires to the best of our abilities. Unless we are perfecting ourselves within our walks, we will fall short and we will stumble and fall. But the idea in Heartworks is to make it to where your prayer life and your walk with God is paramount to the teachings within these kinds of betrayals and hardships that can come your way, while also dealing with being a targeted individual. And by that, I mean that you're already dealing with being targeted from the system in a way that tarnishes your ability, your incomes, and when those things aren't gotten to you in the timeliest of fashions and you aren't protected in that way, your life is being stolen from you. Your phones get hacked, your computers become monitored, you are silently being stalked, and plainly it's to you directly, but nobody else can see it, and you're instead deemed as crazy, even though you have multiple cases for a lawyer to take up. It's just that, well, targeted individuals are highly being financially ruined. So we're out here basically looking for the Aaron Brockovich story to come true for our own lives, and there's many of us. And with that being said, as it being a large crime as it is, in a nutshell, if you are expendable and they need as many of you dead before ever coming out to the public light about it in their own controlled media narratives, they might create in the future regarding targeted individuals. But highly, all we are saying is that we are not being treated fairly, and what it is doing to our lives is taking away our finances. It's creating avenues in our lives of injustice, and these injustices continuously happen and ramp up and alley up, and they really get themselves lost into situations where they, these people oftentimes, if they don't know these things, they oftentimes throw the towel in on their lives in fashions of becoming and encompassing the things that these people are trying to push you into, and becoming the criminal, or otherwise, getting you to annihilate yourselves, because that's what it ultimately works to do, is to get you into your flesh and carnal desires and not care about the spirit, and to call you out of the Holy One. But these people are weak in their flesh. They're solely working within that way, and that demon has literally become of them. They are 100% perfectly okay with whatever number of demons that they hold in any time or hour. And in this journey is where you go, that you're going to attract certain people to come into your life, that when you're trying to steer clear of all forms of temptation, that you are literally walking in that light. So your light is literally going to bother some people to the point where hurting you is their only option. And with where some of these people are willing to go, it's no wonder as to why they would want to leave you down and out in such a way that would enlist you as a hopeful suicide that they can otherwise create. The world will somehow see that you have this light within you, and they don't know what that light is or where it comes from, or how that you can withstand all of that they've done. And the fact of the matter is that you can't. But when you're walking with the Holy One and you realize those things, and you literally do give it to the Lord, the Lord takes it from your heart, at least in parts and bits and pieces, until it can be that you can find peace. Because you can be in such a dark heart sometimes, and in such a dark way sometimes, and still people will see the light in you, and still either people are attracted to it, or they sincerely want to break you worse, because they're like that of a demon trying to get in order to destroy what little peace that you may have left. You see, because people do not know the kinds of things that we are facing on the daily, and we aren't necessarily talking about it either, are we? And we aren't coming out of all hours of all day showing people what is actually going on minute to minute, hour to hour, as if it were within an actual movie. You would cry for having seen the things that I've seen. Your hearts would be deranged. And within a timely way, in order for you to absolutely feel something draining on your spirit, in such a way that is going to tell you something, or tell you any number of things, but when it happens, and when it has to do with your heart, and when it has to do with your love, and where you are putting that energy into, in your prayers, you're literally being hooked up like a battery, connected in reverse, to literally fry you the fuck out of your body. Grind you to a halt and down to nothing. Imagine brake pads being worn completely thin in a fashion where people are legitimately causing you financial ruin, And the one thing you need, the one thing that you need is the one thing that they're trying to upset you, to cause you to fail. These glitches within the applications that don't need to exist, I think, solely for you. And if it gets you out of, 18 hours a week here and there, well, here and there, that turns into a lot of money, folks. And then when you do get the app to work finally, and you get a first delivery, and you absolutely feel targeted in that, the facade of like, oh, that tow truck driver made a fucking 10-minute trip to come to this darkened podunk little parking lot of some random apartment building, and they get to your car and tow it in that time that it took you just to run an order in to a person. Sure, they're disabled. It took you all of like 2 minutes longer maybe, but I'm sorry, but these people, you can't wait 4 minutes or like give a person the benefit of the doubt. You have to utilize the legal system to the best of your ability to tarnish the fuck out of these people's lives, and that is what you are doing. And it's to grind you down to nothing in order to hurt you in the worst kinds of ways. And this can happen within your regular relationships. I'm not talking just hitting tasks here that are taking your world apart, but it's just within that being that your attempt is to get you into that frame of mind. Or these things are set out to hurt you in the worst kinds of ways, is what I'm saying. And it's with that being, the attempt is to get you into that frame of mind of just taking your own life. And people do get placed in that way. It's not their own, and they realize it, and it's actually a mind control thing that they do. It works within the spirit of iniquity and throws you into that blight where you don't know what's going on, and you just feel like you're lost, you're confused. And with Heartworks here, it does call you to get through that confusion, and calls you into a prayer walk, because God will let you know things. And it's paramount especially to people who are being targeted in this way, to be in Heartworks and have a Heartworks value that you take up within your walk with Christ. Because in order for these people to hurt you in these kinds of ways, it's with the attempt of being there in that fashion, and you have to realize it, that it's to put it on you. Like, that's not you normally. That's not you. That's not the you that you came into your relationships with. That's not you that you walked out into the world with today. That's not you that they're creating you out to be. You know what I mean? It's not you. That's just the you that they're trying to create out of you. But here's the thing. People that walk within spirit know that this life is literally an unnoticeable blink of an eye in comparison to an eternal life in the kingdom way. So within Heartworks, we want to work hard on ourselves. We want to work hard on ourselves and within our heart work, because somehow Heartworks was born from that. It was born from that crucible moments of pain throughout prayer life, and not even having enough resources out there to help me in my resolve into knowing what is taking place in my life. And while also being in places in my life where not only the choices that I have that's being left is just to simply being able to humble myself in the urban blight and dealing with the manipulated poison, the disease, the whatever the fuck you have dealing with while you're homeless even, or while you're going through the worst times of your life. And you just have to know that even in your body, to be thankful that God is setting you up with these trials and tribulations to go through, because, and it's to be thankful even in these moments of that are just separating you from yourself and your own mind, and you're just at your wits' ends. But you have to realize that these demons aren't much of anything without their worldly ways and their worldly people by their sides. So just remember that all of this life crumbles as well. So no matter how much that they want to hold on to their little cage or whatever they're doing, your prayers and your hearts will be protected in the kingdom. So bring those prayers and bring your hearts to the kingdom. It's a call to action. God's kingdom won't even allow remembering that kind of profound pain. I do believe so. If you're going to experience, in other words, you're going to experience awkward interactions and awkward intentions. And so my advice with that is to dig into the world, or dig into the word more and not into the world. But I think the world needs to be dug into in the fashion of, like, we need places out here that are building more bridges between people and not things, and not tying things up to people where, like, oh, your phone is going to make you have, like, a better interaction somehow with a person. No, you people are buying the experience of the world. You're going to get the world. And if you can't set those things down for your partners, you're going to keep living in a worldly fashion and encompassing that worldly view. And in that way, that's kind of what I consider a lifer, because it's the person that says, I'm not willing to do anything internally to be a better person for anybody else but me. It says I'm selfish and I could give a fuck less of what anyone else is going through. Excuse my French, but I've been through a lot, and I'm really trying to work on that as well. So I sincerely apologize for that. But I'm keeping them there when I do have them, because I'm just trying to be real. But I am trying to work on me. So just know that. I want to mention reading from the King James Version Bible and reading from the King James Bible version alone on just a brief topic here. I have a lot of writing on this, but there is a lot of problems that I have with all of these other Bibles, and I can explain it. I can explain it in depth. I personally like, I'll stop there because I do have future works encompassing why I'm saying that, but I personally like the red letter edition King James Version because it signifies God's word to us through his Son, and it makes for a lot of sense for readability and just learnability of what it's supposed to signify through God's word. And it makes sense for me to have to read it that way. It always has made more sense to me in that way than any other book you can have in front of me. So the idea here is to prepare people for what's to come, so that they aren't unprepared when things do come, and that when you're faced with these kinds of heavy betrayals, it's time to move on and realize that you're being set up in this way to hurt you in the spirit and to take you out of the spirit. A person with that kind of cage is the only kind of cage that is willing to do that. And when they absolutely feel as though they have to replace, or though they have to replace everything in their life, because if they can't, and they still actually care about you, but rather than wanting to walk alongside with you in your fight and grind with you within your own battles, they've been doing things behind your back and they don't actually care. So instead they will be paving a way for you to break, and you might not see it all of the time, and you might even be encompassed in the ways that they wouldn't do those things to you. So while you're facing that kind of deceit, you need to break away in order to feel for yourselves, in order to reflect and really look at it for what it is. It's just a fact that they need you to break. They need you to break down in the worst ways, but can't see the links that you've already linked up, the many, many miles of chain that's already been linked together in order for you to see, feel, and otherwise know not even that something is going on, but the what, the where, the how, and why. And even to that in and of itself is you actually do know. You actually do feel these things. And so why you're willing to take that place of absolutely killing off that place in another is beyond me, because it's beyond comparison to what I've encompassed. And it's just to ensure the safekeeping of their own cage ass lies, and the lies that are filling to the brim, so the fruits of their labor or their fruits that they'll show is clear and simple. They'll treat you as expendable, and plain as day, the look upon their faces that they'll show you will tell you everything that they need to know in times, because yeah, people can stay in face in all sorts of ways, but the seconds you see them off face and out of that initial heart, and admittedly so at times, you've also been in the known that they were faking, as though they could have had your heart in mind and had that kind of heart with you, but it's a facade, and they know it, and that's why they needed to figure out a way to remove themselves from you regardless on whether or not it was your choice or not. Because I don't know, nonetheless, it gives a person no right to go into these places to challenge you to the very core of who you are and who you are as a person, because that person matters. That person that you are trying to take up into their lives that they can't even relate to, or even can't even so much as like encompass your heart's value into, and they want to destroy you in that way. So those who can hear you can't hear you, and sometimes being taken so far out of yourselves that you might even feel like you're no longer going to be able to come back. And what I mean by that is being able to just to come back home to yourself, like, and so much so that we don't know how to come back if we wanted to. We want to come back home to ourselves so badly so, but rather it's a part of us that's gotten so dark in that heart where I wanted to go within my life, and having that kind of camaraderie that I brought into my relationships. Okay, dude, and okay, people, okay, government, okay, courts, okay, police officers, you're not setting me up in any kind of way. Okay, it's tarnishing my abilities in this life. Okay, in the timeliest of fashions, when I'm already feeling like urban blight. Okay, I'm already living in squalor in a place that should have been never allowed to be rented in. Okay, there's so many different angles, people, is what I'm saying. On top of that, you're being financially destroyed. In order to make ends meet, you had to sell your car or something. So now there's no going to work, but there wasn't any anyway, because lo and behold, they did take away your driver's license for a quote unquote non-payment of child support, in which case you were paying your child support and could even prove it to the courts. So tell me how the courts work. I don't know. I'm just saying, I hurt, and I don't want any interactions with people anymore. On that level, if you aren't family, you don't have heart, you're not a Lutheran Laestadian, you're not a Christian, you're not walking within that holy way, or are even trying to go the right way. Dog, you can take your black heart and fuck off. The lot of you. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what suit you dress up in. I don't care what kind of jester clothes you wear. I don't care what kind of part you're playing in. I don't care what kind of role you take up into the world. I don't care what character you show people you are. If you have that black heart and you work in iniquity and you dress yourself up as a cop or a lawyer or a judge and you're working yourself into a system, you're a political fucking figure. You work within charity, but you ain't charitable at all. You work within the Clintons Foundation. You have all of this money. You have all this money in your little fucking deep pockets, but you don't have any fucking money to go out and throw a little bone out someone's way that's really trying to do big things in the world. Okay. So I hurt within my in my interactions with the world. I hurt within my interactions within the people around me, and now I hurt within the interactions of my own people that I've encompassed over and over and over and over again and again and again and again. With people I love. And after all that I've been put through, yeah, I haven't exactly been able to live a perfect life. Rather, I just realized too late and took it upon myself to try and work diligently on myself, even if I had to stay up until 3 a.m. in the morning and get to work by 6. With an early commute, I could care less as long as I got to talk to God. As long as I don't care how yellow my eyes got, as long as I got to talk to God. I could care less about anything else, because in the crucible of those moments and in the crucibles of those hours, I still made it, dog. And guess where I was? I was a high performer. And I would work my ass off, even on that little of sleep. I still showed up for myself and others. I still gave it my absolute all before I would go into any place that seemed like it would encompass these people, these kinds of people backsliding in my life that wanted to hurt me in the worst ways. And even after having encompassed these things, I had to lay in a bed because of my diabetes and because of my plight, and everything in front of me hurt. And after having been set up in after being set up in innumerable ways, times of my life, and just in so many different fashions, to specifically target me in those ways. It's not even the idea of having razor blade edges being set up and found in such a way that you wouldn't have caught if it wasn't for you to be able to be walking with God. I mean, just the littlest things that hit you, and it's not even like, oh my gosh, I would have been hurt, I would have gone to the doctor, oh my gosh, I would have needed stitches, oh my gosh, I would have been bleeding. It's the fact that, fuck man, that shit hurts your heart. And it's just the things that people will do in that way. I never underestimate someone's ability to hide their dark. What I'm saying is, never underestimate someone's ability to hide their dark hearts from you, because arbitrarily you're going to see these things come to light, and it's going to hurt when it happens. And when you catch it, because you think of what everybody's who they show they are on the outside and the surface levels, Yeah, with where they're trying to send you instead of that happening. But you know, you didn't end up in the places that they wanted to put you in, right? So that's one thing to be thankful for in the situation. If you have discernment, you can see through things, you can see things, and then encompass the thing before it happens, type of thing. And for a long time, you can be linking up chains that people don't even know you're linking together, and it's creating a whole chain link of events to come through your heart's value. So when I'm taking up Heartworks in that way, it's to encompass a movement for charity. And obviously this is not at all where I was actually writing on in the beginning. So I mean, it's taken a huge curve that I didn't expect to come into my life. But either way, it's just the small example of huge problems in my own life, but rather that it stems from a place that is to hurt you in those ways and hurt you to the core of your ability to carry out your what you're trying to do, knowing far well that you're being set up and people are going to be backsliding on you, and encompassing even that they want you to hurt in that way and put you in your lowest. So, and they can deny all of the placements and the faces and the hearts that they otherwise have shown you, but you have to know that these things are only meant to serve you into new chapters of your life. I can't hold on to people because even those who could say they loved me could drain me of my damn everything. So I'm at a point in my life where I don't care anymore what people think, because my heart's been stretched so thin that I have no other option left than the willingness that I have to move into my own life within charity, because I've been so messed over in the worst ways, and I don't think any one of you care. I mean, unless you're family or your friend, and even then, I mean, they care, but what can they do? Not much. So with all of these things going on, my health has been declining since day one of the targeting, or having to question the lack of accountability coming from government, and especially the lack of accountability that's coming from, people that you encompassed as close to you in timeliest of fashions, knowing far well that if it was happening to anyone that they loved, that these things would have been brought to an end. But these things aren't being brought to an end. They continue, and they continue to become this hurtful force in your life. You don't know exactly what's happening, but you know it's happening, and you know that, like, if you were being protected in that way, like, legitimately, like, these cases would encompass a whole lot of money. And I mean, fuck giving your life back with that money, because you can't get your life back with that money no matter what amount that money is. Because I mean, look, they already tarnished your life. You're already in a health decline. You're already, like, completely messed up, and they know what they've done to you. These faucets that are meant to even help you, they know what they've done to you. You don't have to know every avenue of what's happened to you, even, because oftentimes these things are meant to leave you completely confused and lost and in such disarray that, yeah, you're going to look like you've eroded upon your own, when in reality you aren't being eroded upon your own accord. You are being siphoned in your energies and your finances and your lives in that way to literally scrub you. You're a dissident. You want to come up against big things and go go in an unruly fashion into, like, dark places of the world, and you want to bring light into their darkness. Okay. So that's where Heartworks is trying to go. And so in that resolve, I ask for prayers of protection inside of Heartworks, and I ask for you all to encompass Heartworks and create a movement, a piece, a vision, a project, something. Because the larger that we can make this movement, the closer it will bring me to being able to pull the trigger on a few things in my life. And I've been writing on this stuff for 15 years, so I'm ready to go. And in that In my mind, it is. It's a war move. People want me dead. People want me dead in the worst ways. I mean, just yesterday I had somebody throw some kind. It was like a. I want to say it was like a plug of some sort that was sharp on the edges. It was a part of like a car part or like some kind of part, and they spun it outside of the car in such a fashion, and it was like it was it seemed very calculated, and like they almost had me, like legitimately, like where my tire was going. It was like professional. If I was like looking down for my cell phone or looking at anything besides that road right there at that specific moment in front of me, my tire would have went like and just done. I'm done for the night and done for the count, and you can't tell me that these things aren't being set up on me, because I mean I can't encompass every last little part of the story. I mean, it's the goal, but I mean that, you know, I can't go there, and I don't want to go there, as a matter of fact, because I know that there's evil people in the world in general, but it brings that evil to that next heightened level where you're going to be made aware that your perpetrator, or your perpetrator, the people that are doing this to you, when you're aware of these things, they want you to know, but they don't want you to know where they're coming from. They want you to know that you're a target, but they don't want you to know where they're coming from. You see what I'm saying? They don't want that avenue to be shaken up. And same thing with people that are close to you, or people you think that whatever you have in your life that you are trying to be close with. If these people have a cage to hide, they have a cage to hide. You dig? I had to get to the bottom of the monstrous things in my life. I had to get to the bottom of it. And in a lot of things, I feel I did. And I didn't like the little bit that I found, because it totally brought me back into even past relationships, like what I just went through. It brought me back into past relationships, wondering if that's the same places that these others went to. And in that, I thought, I not only do not want to run with humans anymore at all, but only God-fearing people and people who have a really high standard to their own prayer life and their own walks with Christ, because we're literally the only people out here not trying to hurt those people in those ways, is people that are actually taking up those kinds of walks with the Lord. So even institutions that tell you that they're out to care about these things, they aren't out here caring about these things, man. The only thing that they're trying to do is make money off of you. So, I don't know. All these avenues of helping people and therapy and stuff like that, like, I get it, but like, why would you go and take a single moment out of the time that you need to make money and encompass the time that you need to make money back up for what's been happening to you, to go and sit and pay money to talk to somebody that's gonna tell you, oh, that sucks. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that too. That sucks. Oh, and give you, like, point you to like rehabilitation and like more places that are going to take more time and energy away from you. I'm sorry, but I'm not for those things. I'm not for any of it. If it takes value and time and energy away from you, okay. I mean, if you want to believe that that's the way the way the world is actually encompassed to be able to help people, okay. The world wants to help you out. Okay. So this is all just to help you realize that you put on the armor of God every single day, every single morning you wake up. You do not forget to think about these things, to pray about these things, to try and forge through your day without thinking about these things, because it's not going to help you in your day. These days, the devil is only looking to seek, kill, and destroy, maim, tame, control in every single way. So when you are set up and you're losing that battleground, you have to become aware of the many ways that the devil is going to be set up all around you to use them evils to hurt you as well. People are aware of it themselves, but people don't have to be highly aware of these things in order to encompass or encourage those demons. So it's an important piece to think about these things. Be physically and spiritually aware, because these people and demons are going to be trying to do anything that they can to pervert the truth, pervert your life. And with the elections coming up and things like that, and people getting all hell-bent on about these days, is just to get on hell-bent on whatever the fuck they want you to be all hell-bent on, because it's to take you up out of spirit. Spirit calls you to be inside of spirit. These days it's just that people don't have it within them, and it's just sick and sad. And we have to be paramount in our walks with Christ and putting on that armor every day that we wake up, and fall asleep with that same protection around you. Never leave your armor. As a matter of fact, leave your armor on when you go to bed at night. Wake up, put new armor on, like clean armor, fresh armor. I mean, pray in these ways. These days are getting really grimy, and people know the kinds of grime and slime that they fucking are. And in truth, I don't know any one of you anymore. If you just have a fucking bloody beating heart inside of your chest and you aren't even trying to walk with Christ or doing anything uplifting in that kind of way, in that kind of life, and living in spirit, I don't know you, and I don't want to know you. If you're not lit up in Christ, don't come near me. Simple as that, because simply for me, I've been put through the most kind of tumultuous pain in this recent way, and in this recent kind of fashion in that way, knowing far well the truth here. And I know for a fact that they don't have to tell me. They don't have to tell me a damn thing. Because I just want to remove these people from my life. I want to remove these demons from my life. And meaning me. Me. If I have a problem with me inside of myself, I want it out. Gone. So that's where I'm taking my life in that way. That's where I want to take other people's lives in that way. And I want to remove those things and link up chains inside of those hearts that you're in. Because yeah, sometimes you're encompassing crazy, wholeheartedly encompassing crazy. And you might not know what to do with it. You might not know what to do with it. You might feel confused. You might feel hurt. You might feel scared. You might feel lost. You might feel depleted on yourself. You might not know what to do. You might even be in a really rough place, and you might feel like no one cares. And the people that do, what can they actually do? It's as if I was never meant to live my life and take my life into places that I wanted to take my life in the first place, ever. And then being that way and not being able to take my life into those places in the first place, then I'm gonna have people in my life that are set up to pervert me in that way. Okay, I've reached a tipping point. You'll come to realize that this world we live in is far more spiritual from what it otherwise shows, and from within that realm of a physical world, because in this physical world, when you're doing the spiritual inner work and channeling work, and you're actually doing heart work, and within your prayer walk, you're going to realize things that other people aren't even aware that you're aware. So this is why it's important to keep reign over your thoughts, and keeping a reign over the choice words you use in that way that does not signal for these negatives when it comes to our bodies, because our bodies don't know any different. So when you have something to say, when instead of saying it in a way that this is what is going to happen now because you fucked up and you whatever, instead of coming down on a person like that in that way, you have to come to a person in a way that is to encompass what they're going through, and regardless of what is to come of their life, you have to be able to think forward for them in that way, to speak forward with them, to speak those things in that fashion. Because when you speak those things in other ways, our bodies don't know any different. So when it comes to a person that's going to insinuate something going on, it's to just say that that insinuation is real, when in reality that insinuation is actually the reality. You know what I mean? Like, people don't just come up with these things when you're already encompassing something crazy. So if you're already encompassing crazy, you know that it's going to be crazy. Anyway, so you just want people to encompass that feeling, and there's no going back on the fact, because my body was already feeling what you are insinuating in the first place. And even during places I was with you, I was absolutely being wrecked inside that way. That told me I was not suicidal, but rather, would it have been better if I would have never have been in this situation? Like, you just weren't alive to be in that situation at all. So it's just like, it takes you up out of your mind, and not in a way that you're suicidal, but rather you're just not yourself. You're crazy. You're being crazy, but being crazy means nothing, because you're just being led into crazy. You're being led into that state of mind. You're being pushed into that state of mind. And after those kinds of hurts and on those kinds of levels, one after another, I am done. I do not want to be touched. If you aren't within the spirit, don't touch me. The shit hurts way too fucking much. Look, we all fall short sometimes, and this stuff is very hardcore to talk about. Heart's work is very hard to do, and it's not a popularity contest trying to bring my heart's work to life in this world in such a way, as a matter of fact, because it hurts more than you could ever know. Because I never meant to be in this way. I never meant to be in this mind space. And I know that if I wasn't targeted in these ways, that my life would look much differently today. And there's no telling what my actual life would look like. But this one that I'm living today, and just this humbled within self, within a targeted individual that knows that these people know who the fuck they are, that these people know what they've done. Because these people do not know the way, the truth, or the light. They do not have it in their hearts in any way. Instead, however, I have a story to tell along the way where I've just had a really hard time in my walk in the recent, and I'd really like to work with other Christians and artists on this matter within Heartwork Charity, within the Heartwork vision that I have. And I can explain it, and I can, I think you get it already. But I mean, it's something that would take an intellectual to be able to look at and say, hey, that's cool, I want to build this thing with you. And that's all it really takes. That's it. It's a decision that you have to make yourself. I know in the end of times that people from all over the world are going to be singing in praises towards the heavens. And I guess I just feel that right now is the time to start that. And I want Heartworks to be the way that it begins and starts within a world of a transformative kind of way. So if you've got a Heartworks piece of art, a work of heart's work, a work of art inside of Heartworks to create a heart's refrain that you want to create in any kind of way and get out in any kind of rate, that these things inside of your chest's refrains are happening. Any kind of happenings inside of your heart's chest's refrains. That's what Heartworks is about. It's the heart's domain, and it's to work on our hearts. It's to work on our hearts as soil. It's to plant seeds of faith, forgiveness, love. It's to encompass a lot of things, to put inside of people's hearts in ways to draw things back into them and out of them, draw out that evil and place back in their lives the things that have been muddied up and broken for a long time. Maybe you aren't even aware of your own heart anymore. Maybe you don't know your own heart anymore. Maybe it's been so muddied up in your own in your own walk in ways. You've been ruined in so many ways. You don't know how to bounce back. You don't know how to get back. But in this Heartworks charity, it's to take those lives from all around the world and take them up. So no matter where you stand in life, you can always bring somebody up and help somebody up. You never have to be in that heart in that kind of way, in that dark heart, to be in that kind of dark way, and be that kind of broken, and to be able to break people down in that kind of way. You don't have to be so hurt that you're willing to hurt other people. And if you do, find solace in your hurt. Find a way that you can go about your life not hurting, that you hurt so bad. Because broken-hearted people hurt. And to help heal the broken-hearted, and especially coming from somebody that is broken-hearted now himself, I have to get myself on a different path altogether. And in fact, I want the whole website, the whole online, I want the online world to come to life in Heartwork, because I do need this movement created first. Because I mean, I'm creating it. I have things like almost prepared to go up, but it's like I'm having troubles, you guys. I meant to have this thing. I mean, I don't know. I think if things just didn't happen the way they happened to me in the recent, I'd have this thing online, and it hurts. It hurts because I wanted it to be flooding the internet. And either way, I still want to get it flooding the internet. Like, I need to buy the extra bells and whistles package deal in order to even get it to work halfly decent to the way I want this movement to actually be when it's on the website that I'm creating. It's gonna be, in fact, the thing that takes people like targeted individuals into new places, new heights, new ideas can be lit up. And it's to take that way where all of these places that have hurt you, all of these things that have encompassed all of that pain, are going to be called to act now, and in such a way that, like, if Heartworks comes to life the way that I want it to come to life, it will be a lot of you guys creating Heartworks on a daily grind. And it's to create daily, regardless if it's an art piece or if it's like, if you can't even get something up online every day, it's to at least be working within your heart's value, to be able to take it to that place. Because I've been working hard on my side with it for 15 years on and off, I'd say, and then some. But it's because I wanted to be encompassed in what I was dealing with. And I also wanted people to be aware that regardless of the facets of it being gang stalking or being a targeted individual, powers that be coming from the state, regardless if it's like, how would you say, like, these people are employed. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I believe that it's strategic, and I believe it's tactical in a manner of, like, scrubbing the dissident completely or what have you, but I don't believe that it's just evil people being evil and that's just all unorganized, like it's just happening and it's just happening out of unorganization. No, it's happening out of complete organization, in my personal opinion on the matter. But I feel I am most a targeted individual. I've had innumerable jobs not paying me right, to not then having to pay me at all, undermining my efforts within a care position in general, being that the care person was my own mom, and I wanted to get other jobs and go and get into care for people in a different way in life. Well, these facets made it so the authorities could say that I can no longer work within care. Okay. I care so much about people, and this is what the world does to me. So I'm highly writing to sideswipe these outlets that say they care when internally they're deadened care. They do not care about your heart's value. They do not care about humanity at all. So I'm stepping it up into that place and taking it up in that way that is and could get my ass killed. And for the record, I don't care. I really don't. How would I, and why should I? All of these people are dead husks of men anyways, and if they have any true grit about them, they'll do something to help me with my heart's work. Otherwise, fuck them. They are the true cowards, and they are the true criminals, and they're getting away with murder, basically. And not like I'm not already murdered in my spirit as it is, because I am. I've wholeheartedly encompassed that I am a fucking fiction. My life is a joke. I cannot take my life and actually make it what I want it to be when I have all of these criminals working highly and incessantly. I'm making sure that they're basically murdering me at the soul level. And people just don't care enough to see it. So our lives go Southampton while all these others are just able to get justice and even show you on the television like how so-and-so like had like this little tiniest thing happen to them and how they got justice. See, it's to pat themselves on the back. Oh, good job. But when you have these hard things going on, oh, good luck. To enlist in the trust of people rather than while at the same time highly making sure that your life is a fairy tale. It's a fucking game. Yeah, it's no fairy tale out here, but I mean, that's what it's to encompass. It's like, oh, you're fine. You're out here in this way, and you're the common denominator. It's your fault. It's your fault that you have people setting you up. It's your fault that you have evil people manipulating. It's your fault that evil people are evil, and it's your fault that somehow fucking other people don't have a fucking heart. Yeah, right. It's your fault. They'll show you on television even to enlist. Like, put yourself in my position for just 1 second here with this whole Jacob Wetterling story I went through. His birth date was the same day as mine, only 1 year sooner. So his being 1 year sooner, and he was kidnapped by Heinrich, and that, mind you, that's the same motherfucker that tried to kidnap me. Lo and behold, from what I remember, almost exactly 1 year after he was kidnapped. So you can't tell me that the Child Protection Services are actually out to protect us, because that's like encompassing that there's a huge problem within the system that's allowing for targets to actually absolutely happen. And then, not to mention that in and of itself, you can't tell me that a kid almost gets kidnapped 3 times while none of these other kids around me are getting kidnapped or even having to deal with that kind of thing. Okay, so you want to enlist that kind of trust in the society in a world that tells me that it's so degradative that it's willing to encompass actual lists of these kids to go and take, and then you want to tell me that there is no trafficking going on when I know far the fuck well that this guy that was coming out online saying you go to this place and you get him out, and he was talking about Jacob Wetterling being alive and you going there now and getting him out. Did they do that though? No, his information got censored. His information got throttled. Did he reach anybody? No. Was he trying to do it for money, monetary gains? I highly doubt it. Would he have made monetary gains if they left it online? I have no idea, but I highly doubt that too, because people don't care. So it just happens to be that these things happen to enlist the trusts of people that, rather while we're trusting them, at the same time they're highly making your lives a fucking game. getting to use your data to manipulate you in such ways that if it's not targeting you, it definitely feels like it is. Apps aren't working correctly, or as if they're otherwise told to you they work, or sold to you how they're supposed to work. And then how the hell am I supposed to feel okay paying the portion of taxes that tells me that you're using my data to track me, to make for fines, levies, and fees amount, taking out of my value, taking out of my life, while also giving me some piece of shit value of a phone that is either going Southampton on me or is actually being tracked, monitored, and being able to be kind of set up in otherwise way to tarnish my income, even through that level. So how am I supposed to feel that I'm supposed to be able to pay for these things while I'm being automatically feeling like I'm being set up for failure left and right? Just after having my car towed, after having the app just appearing as though it's some unknown behind the scenes thing, making damn sure that I can't use the app as it's designed. And it's as if it's told to work to the public. And yet, once I am coming out about it, to talk about it, like these types of things happen to me all the time. And right after I come out with my second video, I think, altogether, talking about targeted individuals, that happens. I mean, I'm just saying that I feel like it's taken me a lot to get to the place that I'm at, and I feel like I'm already a survivor in the fact that I feel that I could have been dead in numerous ways by now, through these avenues, and not to mention that you just feel like yourself, you get lost on yourself. I think that it's to ensure that you are lost on yourself in that way, and it's to ensure that you're being put in that mindset of having to think about, do you want to live or die? You know, that kind of thing crosses your mind. So I know with everything that I've endured thus far, I don't think anyone has it in them to have to go through what I've gone through. I don't think you have it in you. I don't think you could have gone through what I've had to go through. I don't think you have it in you at all. At all. And with what I've seen, with what little people deal with, sometimes I'm like, no, you don't have it in you at all. You can even go so much as to be like, oh, you stink, and slam the door on me because I'm being poisoned. I am being poisoned. My body has been poisoned, and it's not like you can go above and or around it, because these things are to target you in such a way that tells you that they're trying to get you to kill yourselves before you can go out there and get any help. Because if the epic proportions that you are willing to actually take these things into were to highly become as such, as to know that you are, even in your dream, halfway or a quarter of the way, if you even brought that thing that you had in your mind an eighth of the way, that to bring it to life, it would still shake things up and take things in the world by storm in such a way that would totally wake things up, and wake things up from people in a way that would put people in a different point of view, and it's a point of view that they don't see. So this is another reason why I need a movement created before I even want to pull the trigger on putting up that website, because once that website is up, there will be financial reasons that will come up as to why I can't afford to pull the trigger on the rest of it. And so it's a hard thing to do as well, because I already know that with where I'm trying to move within it, that it will create I don't know, it's going to create problems in the fashion that people are going to have a problem with it being there. And so that's why I need a movement started, because with that movement, it places that hedge of protection around what I'm doing. And I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to commit suicide is what I'm saying. I know that this life is really fucking short. I will encourage myself and others to encompass every last little bit of pain and hurt and whatever that people want to throw in our paths. Encompass it, but try and attack it in a way to break it down and get rid of it. And I'm not going to back down this time until I make it, because my heart's work is in this paramount. It's paramount to not only my own success, but to the success and livelihoods of a lot of people out there as well, who are hurting as well. And I know that there's no way anyone within the government sector should ever be working highly and behaving in the ways that they've been acting, and the ways that they've been putting the pants on the family and humanity, and acting and working so like they're in these highly suggestible ways, that this is the way that you should be, and this is how you should work, and this is how you should be. And it's suggesting to people that are getting paid in otherwise ways to tarnish your life and to tarnish your world, while you're using the incredible use of a justice system around you that works in favor of its own creatability within these very facets of our own lives, that creates the injustices within our own lives that it cares nothing about. It will serve its own fat cats and everything. It spins its own power in to keep its own tightly knit force swept neatly underneath the rug, and tightly, calmly swept under the rug, as if to keep those things out of the light for others to see them, and out of the minds of others to even feel as though they have any reasonable accountability within themselves to reason to say that maybe that they should partake into the things that are happening to other people around them. That, oh, why not? I mean, why aren't people coming to the rescue of people who are absolutely saying that they have been tarnished in their lives, they have been hurt financially, they have been destroyed, their lives have been manipulated in such ways that is to target them in fashions of them never being able to get out from under. And then you're absolutely going to ask them okay, I want you to I want to ask you a question. How are you supposed to pay your taxes when these things are happening to you? You are not only being financially ruined, you are utilizing your time for your finances and not getting paid for that time that you are using to get those finances. Already taking not only the time that you've taken into the endeavor with your career or your work life, but it's also to take away that money that you need in order to take yourself and step up into something else, being that, well, obviously the world doesn't want people like you in care. They obviously don't want people like you working within charity. And in all honesty, how is a person supposed to move when these things are set up in a way that is to hurt you in the ways of not even being able to afford the successions to be able to build yourself? You see what I'm saying? Like, you want to go from point A to point B, but you're going to have these brick walls like coming slam down in front of you. Like, I'm sorry, but these things are being done on purpose, and it's to hurt people that are trying to take out these people that are working within inequity and working within heinous crimes against us, and that if we know that if we were protected against these crimes, that our world would otherwise be able to thrive, our lives would otherwise look different, and thrive in the ways that we would be able to take our littlest ideas of being able to I guess the littlest ideas I have are like taking, Silicon Valley the fuck apart. I mean, there's so much more that humans could do. I mean, just literally take away the dark mind of the government, the deep web and the dark web, in order to control everything that you've got in your life by design. Take that away. How about take away Facebook and make it something to where people are actually paid for their value that they place on the damn internet, and that we all have ownership of the damn thing that we fucking buy. How about we buy our phones and we actually own these things? We have ownership of them. Not we buy them, and then when something happens to them, it's owned and taken, and everything that we do on them and say on them and text on them and email on them and anything on them is being siphoned off to some hacker somewhere that can fuck with us, working within the deep web in order to control everything that you've got going on in your life by the fucking design. Alright, I'm trying to get through this stuff, but this stuff isn't easy to do, especially when you're facing darkness within and from without or on the outside of us. You're going to be set up against these devil dogs, whether you want them in your life or not. And it's in such a way that is going to tell you to go off yourselves, as that is exactly what these people are working within, and within their evil, and within their sins. When they can't see or understand how you even know these things when they occur, and you just know, because it's like that gut feeling that sends shockwaves through your bodies, as if you're paying attention to the situation and you're paying attention to where you're at in life, and you're using discernment, and you're going into these battles within your prayer life that you've been faced with and set up in such a way that's cast these wicked shadows into your life that want to cause you to that are literally to want to cause you to push yourselves to harm yourself, or how would you say it? It's literally to push you to harm, into self-harm, and it is what I'm saying, because it puts you in that mind, and I'm not going to suggest that these things are going to be easy, but I'm asking, please endure these things until the end of time. Every last little thing that is set out to hurt you, and especially in that way, and never give in to what these demons are trying to do to you, or to take out of you, or to leave you standing within your own walk and your own walk with Christ and our dear Lord and Savior alone. Just know that you are not alone. And I mean, you're not alone with Christ in general, but you're not alone in this world either. Again, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And it will be worth it when you try to diligently do the right things while people are trying to make a monster out of you, or, well, in other words, you're trying to cover up the monsters that they've become. And inside of their own chests and hearts refrains. They are the criminals here, and no matter what law protects these people, it doesn't make sense in the kingdom. And so don't worry about all of that and those that are meant to take you apart in that way. Rather worry about what the Lord is calling you to do, and what the Lord would be calling you to act on and to work hard on, and to make those things come to light. Take your heart's value and clean it up and put it to work. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it is, just to have that kind of love that I actually hold secretly, even within my chests, for some people. You know, I thought, and I wanted to think, like, people had your best interest, like, people are just, you know, I don't know, even a little bit like you. They're not even at all like you, and they'll let you know it. And they want you to do they want to do these kinds of things to you when you're within spirit, because you literally feel God's answers coming like a lightning bolt straight into your guts, telling you everything that you need to know all the time. All the time. It tells you everything that you need to know, how to move, and sometimes it can be very confusing, but God wants you to know and have faith in Him that everything is going to be working out for His plan. So no matter which way things are on earth here, facing these kinds of facts, or not having to face these kinds of facts. Either way, I mean, I want people to experience joy and in their lives in a way that's not tarnished in this way. But when our lives have been tarnished in this way, our hearts have been taken for granted in the worst ways, in the ways that we love. We cannot even be as much as felt in the hearts of these others. I mean, what percentage can you encompass? If you can't encompass the whole of it, you literally can't encompass a 0.0001% of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that's where it takes that level. I mean, it's like literally, I mean, it's literally a thing alive, or it's a thing dead. I mean, there's literally no gray matter there, because our hearts are literally being taken for granted in the ways that we love, and the ways that we love hard, to where these people can so much as do the kinds of things that they're willing to out of spite to get you into the worst places of your lives. You have to take it upon yourselves to do that kind of inner work and that channeling work on your own, to be able to know that these things could be coming your way, and to be taken in such a lightened heart in that time, that in that time and hour that you're kind of going through these things within your heart's work, that I'm asking you to take into in your channeling work. But it's to be felt in a way that is to tell you that no matter what happens, that you have it within you to withstand it, that you have it within you to bear it, and that you have it within you to not do those kinds of things to others, that you're not willing to do those kinds of things to even the people that are willing to do those kinds of things to you. Because, especially in a situation that I was in, I mean, they needed me to fuck anything up. They needed me down and out in the worst way, and frankly just messing me up in the worst way to have me hurt them or hurt something, like being called up out of my heart. And so that's why I knew, and I felt on all of those levels, I was really being mismanaged, my heart's value, and not just mismanaged in my heart's value, but really manipulated and gaslit in a way that's to destroy me at that soul heart's level, where I take myself into with heart work, and to take me out of that place. And it's hard. It is hard. It does get hard, but I hope people face those challenges without absolutely being called up out of yourselves, because you don't deserve the repercussions that they want for you, and you know that they do. So don't be called up out of spirit. Don't let them call you up out of yourselves or your heart's value, and don't let them tarnish that heart of yours, because if they can muddy it up any more than they already have, they will. I mean, they're ignoring the calls from God, much like they ignore yours in the timeliest of fashions. And even if they are picking up the phone for you, what are you going to talk about? Where can you go in your relationship with them? They haven't absolutely taken it upon themselves to make sure that they aren't doing any kind of channeling work, any kind of light work or heart work or anything for you in that fashion, to encompass a moral standard that you have, and even not even a fraction of it, to be able to go into places in that way. So anyway, I want to add in here that God is the best boss that you could ever have. God is the best at rewarding us. God is the best at being in our lives right when we need him to be. But Heartworks is calling you to also encompass that God is God, and God wants a relationship with you, not just when you're broken, but God wants you to have a relationship with him where you have joy. And in that joy I felt, it's a humble joy, but it's the best joy I've ever had. And in deep pain, and in situations where I was dealing with deep pain, currently homeless, dealing with and seeing your own kidnapper being caught while Jacob Wetterling's dead, even though you yourself were part of the video series that kept getting taken down. Like, you had been, you were a subscriber. All of this guy's work was being taken offline, and he was specifically telling the cops for what I felt was years where to go and get the boy out of captivity. But his idea was that these people didn't want to get him out of captivity, and they couldn't get him out of captivity, because if they were to get him out of captivity and he were to be alive, he would have a story. And in that story of my own and prior years when I wrote about this, I really wanted to talk to Jacob Wetterling, and I really wanted his story. I wanted him to be alive. Like all of this guy's work that I came across specifically, that was also ensuring to me that he also wanted him to be alive, thinking that he is still alive, and to get him out of captivity. And who knows, maybe he was already gone, but I think the autopsy proves that he was it was recent when they found his body. It was a recent, just whatever. It's hard to talk about. Either way, you got somebody online saying that they think they know where he's at and that he's alive and go get him, and you telling me that this man can be censored offline, and in which case they didn't go and get him out, and in the timeliest of fashions, I'm just all of a sudden being fucking railroaded. I think because of some of my findings, or I don't know. I know I was being fucking fucked up by the government. My personal belief is that these people were employed. They had it in them in every single facet of my life, including my workplaces and how I get paid or not. And then I'm just alone there as a kid. I'm just trying to encompass the world around me and trying to figure out how to get out from under. I'm feeling like a targeted individual sitting inside of a homeless shelter after knowing far well that this wouldn't be the position I would be in if I was not being targeted for me, my finances, my workplaces, my transportation, my current job. The Department of Labor Industries, as I've said before, dropped a case, while at the same time was dealing with mold spores in a place that was definitely uninhabitable, and being as protected to keep people going in and out of, rather than even doing anything about the problems that existed there. It was a band-aid operation. I am a carpenter by trade. I know far the fuck well that place was uninhabitable. I know far the fuck well these people owe us every single last dollar that we paid back to us, and then some. How about how badly our health declined? No, but nobody wants to step inside of places that are actually being set out in that way, because this was mind you, prior COVID, and I had said that in the future there's going to be a plague then, and they're going to highly cover it up with this deceptive lure. It's a little lure that they placed in front of everybody, fucking it up for every resolve that we have as targeted individuals, and even people who don't even know that they are targeted individuals. who are definitely targeted individuals, because these people are vulnerable adults. These people are elderly people. These people are, you name it. And you don't even want to know these places. I've been and heard and seen things where there's nothing you can do. Nothing. Rather than just know that you're being set up in this way on purpose, because if these things weren't happening in front of you with your heart's value, like on a 72, I'm going to explain this, okay? I was on a 72-hour hold while every single night I thought this old lady was being raped in there. And she wasn't just saying no to medications, man, and I even said that once, but what they want you to do is know that that's going on, and to know that if you were to do anything about it and fight them on it, it's to place you in there forever, man. You want to go up in there and save somebody's life. You legitimately do. You're in your heart's value. You're in your prayers still. You're in your heart's work. You're fucking going through things, encompassing this bullshit, plague, whatever the fuck you got going on. You're in there, and then you hear that, and it's like, oh God, these people are setting things up for you in the worst ways, and you have to fucking know every single last little part of it, every single hair-splitting second at times, to know that these attacks can be come up and set up on you in a timeliest of fashions. And there's nothing that you can really do rather than just deal with knowing that you are literally being set up on this way and in this way on purpose. And nobody else has to see it. But you will be triggered. You will be set off. You will feel it. That you are being manipulated in your life. You are being controlled in these ways in your life. You would be a different person even if these things weren't happening to you, because you wouldn't think in this way. And then lo and behold, they're going to say that you're crazy, you're deranged, that you don't know what you're talking about. Mind you, maybe at times you really don't, and that you do sound crazy, but did it ever occur to you, to any of you people, that like we are literally being fucked out of our minds, our natural minds? Oh, there's a big key there. Use it. Think about things, man. Because people are being set off and manipulated in their lives in the worst ways. Because these things wouldn't be happening at all. At all. If they were on the opposite ends of the keys players' perspectives in the games of power here. You see what I'm saying? Because let's just face it, if a guy like me had the Clintons Foundation's money, fuck well, I'd change things. The fuck well I'd change things. Hey, how about take what I have currently in the bank and let me go give a homeless person a nickel of what I got. Hey, now take that percentage to what they have, and I'm just asking for that nickel from them. And I'll still fucking change things, dog. And there's no way that you can tell me that there's any kind of charitable activity going on in this way when they can't do it. And instead, right after asking for anything like that, I'm set out in the worst fucking ways that you could ever imagine being set out in. Okay. Sometimes you just have to actually take a step back in life and realize that life is not how you were taught it to be. Life does not give a flying fuck about you. Life wants to pull you down and pull you deranged in such fucked up ways, man. But you have to control your mind's ability to actually achieve these things, and your own life's value and your own life's worth. And that's why I'm taking it to that place. And the fuck well that I will. You all know the fuck well that I will, because you could tell inside of my voice that I am a genuine person, that I come with genuine ability to care in that fashion, and you can feel it. So the ability is to control us with the key players on these games of using their newest technologies, and the ability is to control your lives on all facets of your lives and your life's worth. Is that of no concern to you? There's no way where you are able to live your own lives worth while there's others that are being taken from them, because others' dreams are being taken from them that could encompass your dreams. And then you know, like, we believe in the butterfly effect here, not only on the upside down and the fucking inside out and the ways that they're working in deceptive powers. Yeah, we're highly planning on working in the upside down in that fashion of their upside down. So it's to pay back every single one of us back for the crimes that have been taken up against us. And it doesn't, and it's in a way, a plan that takes us up out of that place through dividends in our lives, regardless on whether or not they want to help, regardless on whether or not they want to give us that nickel, regardless on whether or not they want to support us, regardless on whether or not they want to be there to see it, or regardless whether or not they want to see us fail and keep setting things up to see us fail. Because the powerful place that Heartworks would step into to create daily and to create that daily resolve that I'm asking you to create. And I mean, just start within your prayers to be able to think that it's possible that you could do something like this and to make a movement and become a part of a movement this large. Because what I'm talking about is more than just 1 million people. I'm talking about a whole world transformation in a way that can't be stopped, in a way that's God derivative, in a way that comes through people, in a way that comes through Christ's people. I mean, what bigger opportunity could you ever work on? What bigger movement in the world could you ever move into and work on than working on where the Lord even says in the end of times where the world will be? So my heart's value, I guess says that the money has been wrong, the fiat currency has been wrong. I just want to sing to the Lord. And if that doesn't make a loving, profound statement and enough money where people can eat, live, breathe, and live comfortably, then fuck your fiat. Fuck your money. Fuck your government. Fuck your world. Fuck the fucking systems that are out there, and especially places like the Clintons Foundation. Sorry to say it, folks, but these people are not working within charity. And with what I'm not going to go into that. It's just plain and simple to me that these people don't work within charity. The places that I've written and then the things that I've seen coming up into my life right after that, you can't even pay me back for the crime that has been taken against me. I mean, the work that these people do in the hands of evil and come out there and act like they're doing any kind of charitable activity at all, deceiving the public at large. You got people's donations like in the tunes of what the fuck going into these people's pockets, and I can't even get a fucking dollar. Okay. Go be fine with your own bodies, folks. Go be fine with your own hearts and go be perfectly fine with it. But I am not going to be fine with it. Just understand that when you're going up against the kingdom of darkness, that the devil is going to be working within people, and he's going to be sending people in your way that are going to pervert your life and harm you in any way that they can. The goal in mind is always to have the same reasons in it, that it's to tarnish your abilities in life and hopefully get you into the frame of mind and in a bad way where you're going to feel at your lowest. And these things are going to push you down and even knock you down further when you're at your lowest. And then even then, it'll even put, it can continue furthering that already dark mind that is going to set up the exact event that's going to occur. And I'm just going to tell you that you have to be stronger in your faith than anything else. You have to stand up in your faith, and you have to stand solid in your faith, because it's going to become paramount at times when you're not going to be able to make it home some days, and then you're not going to be able to make it home many days in a row some days, and your hearts are going to hurt so damn bad some days that you're just going to be falling to the fucking ground. Not with just how tired you are alone, but within your emotional selves being drained spiritually, emotionally, physically. You're just going to be drained the fuck down. And as I've said, it's on purpose to get you in that way, down in yourself, for them and for the devil and for these people that are willingly and highly encompassing, encouraging that kind of agency that they're trying to take away from your life. In fact, they do not want you to have any agency at all. They will be looking at taking your whole life apart, and when they can't, they too will fall apart for a little bit, and who knows, maybe they don't even know anything for too long within their own chests refrain, but this shit's got to drive them insane. This shit's got to drive them insane that you're highly aware of their crimes against you, and that in this way, I don't care who makes up the laws regarding targeted individuals in these situations, because these people, if you ask me, are the devil dogs that are working in that way. And to set you out to target your finances, and once again, it's been set out to hurt you in that way so that you cannot work on your dreams, that or maybe set out to tarnish you in a way that will get you to not be able to work at all. How about that one? Or how about they target you so bad that they're going to hurt your heart's value so hard that they'll set something out in a way that won't be noticeable to somebody else that you love. Could it be? I think so, but I mean, who am I to say that someone out there might want to hurt me so badly and profoundly so that they would hurt people I love? Basically, if these people could get you to quit your prayers, they will. And if they can get you to stop working for God, they will. It's much to do anything that they can do to you to get you off of your path. So, in that, I pray that you can withstand this stuff. And I'm asking you, calling you to pray and walk in spirit as much as you can then. And heavy. Hard, like lament, pain. I mean, it's not a bad thing to cry, people, and to dig yourself into that kind of pains of other people, because without that, I mean, what are we doing? Continually taking ourselves back off of that frame of mind that, oh, somehow something else is going to fix these issues? No. It's up to us if we want to do anything about it or not. And if someone doesn't, and they want to set out to pervert your life in that way, it calls you to stay firm and steadfast in your belief and stay firm in your faith. It calls you to actively have faith and have to be aware of the things at all times. Have an awareness about you of things like this at all times, because you don't want these spirits and these entities to become attached to you and to make you become any less than you actually are, because that's what they will work to do. And it's just to call you up out of yourselves, to take you up out of the Holy One and set you inside of the anger, the jealous, to take you up outside of the minds that is laid in when you even say the Lord's Prayer with intent and heart. You're going to realize what you are actually saying and what you are actually asking for when you are asking for deliverance from the evil. For thine is the... and on. And you mean to absolutely part ways with the wicked deities of this world, and you are no longer a partaker of those events. Rather, These events are going to be set up around you, and people are going to be working highly that test as if they are being, that will test you as if they are being set up in that sort of way to know that these people are doing you wrong. These people are not your friends. No matter what was equated in that hour and in those days, weeks, months, or even years, you have to know for yourselves that you're better than that shit. You have to know that within all of those negations that have come your way, and all of those negative things that have come your way, that you were never meant to be a partaker in the world, in the world's ways in that way. So you have to realize how you have fallen short, and how these places in the world have shortened your way of walking with the Lord. Your way that would have been taken up in the world. That you're going to, you're going to fall short of the glory, even if you see it in these hours. God is trying to bless you still, but you can trust me on that. That we've all fallen short because of all of the dreamers' dreams in the past that have been tarnished for lack of better understanding of God's work within man. What I believe God is trying to do and still bring out the more light into you is just that. And you're afraid of that light. We all are. He's shining it into us so bright, and even right now, you might be afraid. But the truth of it is exactly that. We are always going to be more afraid of our lightness than we are our darkness. Darkness we know, and we obviously grew up to know too well. But it is our light, our compass, and our torches that we have yet to learn how to use, and I think it frightens the hell out of us. But it's because we realize that we are no longer of this world, and that we are chosen to go through things of and in this world, to go into places that other people are not willing to step into. It's to show them a compass in comparison to their shit compass, because their compass has gotten them bewildered and just awful inside. Just a shade of gray, a little too much, sir. Just a shade of gray, a little too dark, ma'am. Your dark hearts have gotten the best of you, and you try to get at the best of me too, but that didn't work, and it's gotten you to kill you a little bit more harder than it's ever going to kill me, because I'm hard on myself enough. I've killed enough of myself. Enough. I don't need a friend in my life that's going to be following me around, trying to encompass my relationships in a way that's out to absolutely fucking kill me if I were to ever find out. And lo and behold, if there were too many other signals that God was showing me in a timeliest of fashions that I couldn't have seen what I saw, and saw clear through what I was seeing, and when I did, I'd have to keep it to myself. And I couldn't share that with anybody of what was happening to me, because it was placing me into that dark mind and in that dark way that I've had to face a lot my entire life, unable to open up my mouth when it's time to speak, and unable to speak or even open up my mouth when I really have something to say. And it's been opened up for more instead of where I'm trying to take my life, and it notates of my past relationships. It has me asking some serious questions I'd rather not even know the answers to. But it's still just so painfully to be placed in this way, as to where they wanted me to go into was to absolutely shirk on their own responsibility to me as a friend at all, and then claim as though I'm the one that needed to step it up, even though as vulnerable of position I was being placed in. Sure. Okay, friends. I'm not shirking on the responsibility to you. You are shirking your responsibilities to me. This world is the devil's little playground, and we know that too. So when you're up against people that want to steal away your life's worth and they're determined in order to do so, then you'll have to have these extra tests set up along either way to test you, to see if you are in spirit or not, or to see if you're going to run the other way. So when you go up against these rulers of these dark places, that they have planted you in such a way that has made and has taken you out from underneath you, and your value as a man has been tarnished. You have to question these naysayers out here who are claiming as though this stuff is just made up and it's all in your head. You're just some conspiracy theorist, when in reality all we're saying is that, like a lawyer, for a lawyer, we have multiple cases. Pick one, help us through it. And what we're also saying is that through the narcissistic abuse, our brains have actually been fractured up and fragmented. And so we just don't know the ways to actually say all of the things that are happening to us, because, I mean, put it inside of a person that has a harder time saying things than even I. That person is legitimately destroyed. That person is legitimately destroyed. And especially if they're willing to take these medications coming from the world. Because any time that they're going to be called out to actually be able to actually be having to say anything, what happens instead is they will be shut in. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but it's like almost like something collapses inside of a person on that voice that they have, where you have something to say, and it's something serious and in a serious, timeliest of fashions, to be able to stick up for yourself. And it's not to punch these people in the face that deserve to get punched in the face, but it's to say that when you have something to say and it's gonna fucking pound you in the fucking stomach, okay, you have something to say then. So it's just through all of that pain initially that we've gotten thrown off of our own track, and that then you get all of these things happening to you, and that's moving you into a way that's supposed to get you to quit moving where you're gonna be moving, and get you to stop moving how you're starting to move. Because guess what? Your spirit bothers so many people. You are going to have to make it a part of your life to know by name, by minute, by hour, by second, that these things can happen to you that are supposed to be threatening you, and it's to threaten your way and your walk, because your way and your walk is a huge threat to their kingdom here on this earth and here in this life, that otherwise says to them no more, that otherwise says to them fuck you, and that otherwise says to them you cannot do the things that you're continuing to do, working in the ways of inequity into and through our lives. And I'm sorry to get mad, because I am most mad. My life has literally been tarnished. And I know that other people's lives have been tarnished. And that these people simply do not care about us. They can't contribute to the value that we would otherwise be sharing and contributing to one another's lives in that way at all, because these little cages have become treacherous assholes in life. And it's because they can't even hardly see it themselves and can't even hardly reason within it of themselves, because guess what? It puts them in their rightful fucking place. And you are deserving of a position to take up in this world. You are deserving of a position in this world to shake things up in this world. They don't want you to have it. They don't want you to know it. They don't want you to absolutely feel it in your hearts. And so much so that they are willing to hurt you on all ways, in all levels, to put you in that grave, that shallow one, and put your name to shame and cover you up in that dirt, that shallow way. They want to hollow you out. So it's a call here to be very leery as you go through life and trusting people, even people that you trust, with your heart, with your mind, and then just sharing you of yourselves with people. Because people are willing to hurt you at no cost to themselves. Nothing to themselves! And it's pretty well known as a crime that is being taken, that has been being taken up against us, and that they are still working within it. They still need you dead, and they still know that you are working within it. They still know that you are within spirit. They still know that we know that it bothers them. They still know that they need you to quit moving how you're moving into the world. They still know that they want you to quit moving how they need you to so badly so stop working in the way that you're trying to work in the ways of the world to try and save people from their own faces. They need you to break and to be whatever they need for you to break, to become, to save their own faces. And in the end, it's not going to be them that hurt if they get you to be called up out of your own self and get you to break. Through that work within the world and inequities, they are so blind to faith. So in that, we are supposed to pray for our enemies. And that sometimes that's the hardest thing to have to do, because in and of ourselves, we are so mad. We are so right. In our anger, we are so having to deal with all of that pressure that the devil wants to leak into you intellectually so that you cannot withstand it anymore. You can't take that pressure and you can't take it in your spirit to succumb to the evil ways that are set up there to destroy you. Destroy you! As if that wasn't absolutely set out to destroy me yesterday. As if those things in prior days haven't been absolutely meant to destroy me. So pray for your ability to overcome these challenges as you may have to face them. Pray for your future in ways of faith that you can manifest changes in your lives. And even if they hurt you and take your life, just remember this. All of your prayers are protected in Christ. And so hopefully you're taking those prayers to Christ in a profound way. Because hopefully one day we will get to the promised land before we get tossed into the phrase in such a way that there's no coming back from. Hopefully we get to the promised land before we get tossed into the phrase in the kind of ways that there's no coming and bouncing back from. Hopefully we get to live out that life and not be killed. But as targeted individuals already know, is what we are saying is that there has been damages that have occurred in our lives. There have already been damages that have occurred in our lives where we cannot get back from. Because we believe and we know wholeheartedly that these attacks stem from within. Or where we have ideas, but rather we're just being taken out of our hearts' values and being drawn into the weak. And I don't care how much money these people have. I don't care what kind of money they have. I don't care what they have to show for themselves. I don't care if they stand themselves up as though they're an accountable human fucking being with the kinds of things that I'm coming out with my heart's work. My heart's work. I am trying to siphon that money away from these devil dogs in the worst ways and put it back into the American pockets where it belongs. Because our worth has been stolen from us. And you've been set up to think that you have had it made in the shade here in America. You have not had it made in the shade, and these people are working within sickness. These people are working within iniquities. They are working with the devil dogs out there to undermine you in such a way that you're never going to get out from under. Do you not understand what I'm saying to you? Because I think you do understand what I'm saying to you. And I'm getting more sick and tired. At my wits' ends, like the many I've seen out here too. They want to drive the fight that you have left in you to fight. They want you at your wits' ends. And so that fight that's left within you, the littlest bit that's there, that you choose not to. So I'm telling you to. Dog, I'm asking you to and through, please. Don't choose to lie down right now. Rise up, grind it out, do whatever you have to do. Fight for your lives, and fight for what's right in your lives, and fight for the people around you that have been broken really badly as a child. Since a child. Or ever since they were a child. Maybe you never had to go through the kinds of things that these people have had to go through, and you don't understand it. My heart's work is to rise up and grind it out so that you can understand it, man. Because though I've been broken down really badly and badly so through these certain avenues that I know have been taken into my life, not of my own accord, but just all the kinds of things that have just messed up, to mess me over in the worst ways. So my goal here is to help you out and just know that even though it's hard to keep fighting, when you feel like giving up, you don't get to fucking give up, dog. You're not like all these other weak men out here who have no idea what it's like to feel so isolated internally in that way with what they're trying to take up in the world, within their own relationships, being placed inside of a way that wants to call these people out by name, exposing them. I know how hard it is to reach out for help when you feel like you have no one to turn to actually help. And I know what it feels like when the avenues that are there are supposed to be helping you aren't actually helping you, and instead it's just taking more of that value away from you. That you're scared to even ask anyone for help anymore because literally has it been as though you've needed it? Has it been as though it's been badly so? I know how bad these things hurt because I hurt, and I'm hurting in that way now. Unexpected in ways. Hurt. So not at all in any initial way did I want to come out with a charitable activity in this way here, but here I am. Still here. I still stink and can't find people that can put up with the stink long enough to help me get out of this body of mine that knows what it's been placed in. So I've been fighting things in ways like never before, falling over. I don't know how else to say it, but I am most a broken man. And a most broken man that's been trying to help and do things in a different way in his life, in his own life. And right now I need your help in charity. I need your help in creativity. I need your power. I need your energy. At least in prayer. It's the littlest that I could ask for. So I hope to reach others to help create one of the most powerful movements on the planet. And together we're going to take these kinds of sufferings and bring them to an end. And end this kind of mistreatment coming from our own coin. And coming from our own dollar that we've allowed into the system to place its fiat fucking bullshit into our lives in a ways that's the I don't care what y'all call it. I don't care what y'all can call it. It's never once helped us. It's never once given us our actual value for our work. If our work is to love and to rise up in this kind of way, in a world that says that we have basically no rights to doing so, and if you do, we're gonna fucking target you in this way. I'm sorry, dog, but now is the time. 2024 is here. Rise up now and say what's on your heart's plate. You deserve to get out there in a fucking phenomenal ass way. And you deserve to get out there today. I wanted to start this project 15 years ago, so I'm just lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be here and excited to even try and bring it to life. Because right now, I need donations for myself, but because I do. I need help. I need helpers. I need warriors. I need prayer warriors. I need the whole fucking world to hear me somehow. Because I need to be protected in my walk as I move in this way and in this way with charity, because I know that these places are not working within charity. And if they are, and they really want to take their charity to new heights, put me in charge of your money. Put me in charge of what your money does. Put me in charge of all that dollar, all that figure. Put me in charge of all of it, because this one here encompasses a whole lot more than you can think of. This one here encompasses a whole lot matter that you could ever even think of in a whole year's time. You start from the beginning of 1 year and you work your way all the way to the end of that year, thinking nothing about what I've been working on within my heart's value to shake things up in this world, because it hasn't been easy. And I guarantee you in charge of that money can't even come close to touch what I'd be able to do in this world. Couldn't even come close. So though my heart's work hasn't been easy, and taking it into those places in the world has not been easy, as everywhere I go I seem to run into people that want to do me in the worst ways sometimes. And seemingly people that'll talk behind your back and set things up in the worst ways to happen. But that's basically it. People will step in your life in ways and you don't see the plants of seeds of doubt that they're planting and placing in your life for your own demise. Encompass the idea for a second. A cop walking into a pizza shop and just having a regular conversation. Interject. And that's all they have to do is interject and say something in a place that you work at, or a place that would otherwise force an employer to target you as well, or to place you in a future potential employer where they would target you, or where they otherwise would have plans for you. It doesn't matter if you are in an organic way in that position or not, in that hour and in that time and in that minute, in that fashion, because you can look at it in whatever way you want, because it doesn't matter. That formidable person that's meant to come up there at the clipboard and the suit and tie and whatever the fuck, they know that something isn't, that something isn't quite right about what is going on there, and you might not be able to place your finger on it, but you can most likely feel it, and you most certainly will, and especially if you're doing your prayers in that fashion, because you might not be able to put it into words. You might not be able to even you have it in your heart and you're like, I don't know, you literally drop blank with how to say things. And we should be making a huge dialogue about that alone, because the dialogue of that alone can help other people see that it's not only just about us not being able to have an intellectual conversation about these things that are happening in our lives, but it's just to show that how much of it has tarnished our lives and how much of our value that is going to be taken out of our lives, too much so, and just how much is too much. How much is too much value that can be taken out of us in this kind of way when things come to us? How much value is too much for us to say, it's too much that these things are happening to me? Or we should be able to create a dialogue about these things, to ask the question, how much is too much for these things to be happening to us in that kind of fictional way that is being created over us? And my answer to you is in the amount of $1. $1. If they can take $1 from you, trust me, they'll take tens, they'll take hundreds, they'll take thousands. And but yeah, try the tunes of tens and thousands of dollars, and if you count the actual ways that is actually being deprived of your actual natural thoughts and your actual ability, and how much is that worth? I guess I'm curious, to a lawyer or to somebody, how much is that worth? Mind mapping, triggering people, data breaches, mind control. Stopping at nothing, stopping at no reason whatsoever as to what could be used to target these people into a nutshell of whatever is going out there, leaving them nothing out there that's supposed to encompass the actuality of what's happening in their world. Witchcraft, eugenics, world sciences, New World Order, agendas, highly driven plots being paid financially to beat it into submission for people to work in inequity for this person, or getting people a lot work, I don't know, just being paid lots of money for people to work within diseases and allowing these diseases to go outside of labs, out of the CDC. Like I've been encompassed before, the CDC released from the CDC. No one knows about it. There's been a plague. That's a disease. What was it? A replicating parasite is what it was. A replicating parasite that got released from the CDC or stolen or whatever. Somehow it got leaked out of the CDC, and nobody knows what happened to it, and it got out of hand. And the world didn't want anyone to freak out about it, so what did they do? They censored anybody and everybody that was coming out with the information that was regarding this parasite. But nobody around me but me saw that. Nobody, and I mean nobody. I want to try to bring that to it with, maybe they believed me after a long time, but I brought things out in the public in such a way, in that fashion, to hopefully allow people to see it for themselves. I didn't need to be censored. I didn't need to be subjugated through worsening pain and worsening disgrace coming from my government. But so I don't really care anymore. I don't really care what these people have to fight for. I don't really care what sides of their argument that they're on. I personally want to take things out of these places like the Clintons Foundation, for example, because I know the fuck well that these people aren't working in charity. And I'm not sorry for saying it because it's true. At any rate, I will work very hard on the side of people and on the side of people to wake them up and get into the stuff that is going to be hard hitting. As a writer, I am a hard hitting writer, and it really boils down to all of it. I have that fire blood within me to work in a great way within charity. I have been muddied up. I have been muddied up. My spirit is darkened. I am I want to be better. I want to be light. I want to be lighter. So I guess that's why I just feel like people never knew me. They never really got the chance to know me because the things that I've actually really wanted to do in the world I was never really protected in doing. And any time that I was ever like, oh, I'm going to pull the trigger on this thing, you'd just be like, oh, you're dumb. Good luck. So I guess my goal to take away money from places that aren't working within charities so that I can actually do charity work. And if that's dumb, then I guess I'm just dumb. I want to help a lot of people, and if I can, I want to help a fuckload of people. And if I can, I would make 1,000,000 artists. I would take and shake up 1,000,000 artists to be creating, and in ways that these places and these people wouldn't otherwise be. So if I can make a change like that and make a movement like that, that's where it's trying to go. I hope you guys feel this heart work, because that's where my heart's work is in charity, and hopefully getting people to wake up and realize that their power is insurmountable when it comes to Christ's walk, and I hope that you guys take it up with me in our heart work and be committed, because that's what it's about, is a heart work's commitment. And it's basically what it's all born from, is just being committed to what I'm taking in my prayer life with God. It's to stay convicted in my way with where I'm trying to go. So I hope you feel this Heartworks, like I said, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys start a Heartworks project today. Thank you.